Victor Charles performed with Lisa Clark at the Oak Globe Theatre early in the season of 1962 in the play The Gazebo, written by Alec Coppel, in a book titled Vampire and Her Daughters, Women Horror Movie Hosts from the 1950s. Lisa Clark wrote, "She has appeared in local San Diego theater productions, perhaps the most outstanding being her appearance at the Old Globe in the Gazebo opposite Victor Buono. We shall see throughout Victor Charles's career that he would receive more illustrious reviews when acting on a stage instead of in television and motion pictures. It's the richness of the words that are written for play and character, and far more in quality for actors and for productions." Victor Charles performed in all of the three Shakespearean plays: Taming of the Shrew, Henry IV Part II, and Othello in the 1962 season. This would be his last time acting at the Old Globe Theatre Shakespeare Festival until coming back in 1974 to play Sir John Falstaff. Once again, when following the careers of Bette Davis, Joan Crawford, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and director Robert Aldridge, we will soon see how each of them would influence Victor Charles's acting career and turning him into a Hollywood star. Both Davis and Crawford were entering that unfortunate time when actresses have grown older and their images losing their brightness. As for Victor Charles, he wasn't known as an up-and-coming superstar in motion pictures yet, and in minds of many, he appeared to be a great gamble for director Robert Aldridge. All three of them, Davis, Crawford, and Buono, all carried luggage that easily could sink a ship, but Warner Brothers stood firmly behind Robert Aldridge's talent and good sense. Director Robert Aldridge stands alone from others who opened the door for Victor Charles to become a Hollywood television and motion picture star. There were four other strong and influencing mentors that forged him in his life, but Aldridge was the one holding the golden key that opened the door for Victor Charles's career. First, it was his grandmother, Myrtle Keller Boldovich. I called her Granny Grunts when growing up, and she encouraged him how to act with his facial expressions and his articulate tones of words he spoke. And there was his father, Victor Francis, who introduced him to various men from the Sicilian culture of the mafia. He may have learned at 15 years old their vocal tones, characteristics, and physical poises. In doing so, Victor Charles may have learned how to be a much older person than he truly was, and he would never be intimidated by anyone else by carrying the confidence and stature of a more mature man. Then there was Father John R. Ahern at St. Augustine High School, who taught him to love the poetic words of William Shakespeare. He also was the first director to teach him in the disciplines of how to stand on a stage and gracefully move downstage or up. Father Ahern also shined a bright light in Victor Charles's heart and mind. with his religious beliefs that helped him to make important decisions throughout his life. Director Craig Knoll of the Old Globe Theater saw Victor Charles performing at the San Diego Junior Theater in 1953, and he immediately noticed his skills as an actor. It wouldn't be long until he would be directing him in Ben Jonson play Faupoon in 1956 at the Old Globe Theater, and he helped Victor Charles to win the Atlas Globe Award for Best Actor of the Year. Peggy Kellner was his first female friend to show him the ropes of becoming a professional actor. She was director Craig Knoll's right-hand woman, who could do absolutely everything at the Old Globe Theater. She was an actress, director, set designer, and she was a world-class costume designer too. I had the great pleasure in 1974 visiting with Victor Charles and her at the Old Globe Theater. When seeing and hearing them talking and laughing in the costume department that day, it was clear to me that they would be friends for their entire lives as best buddies. And that is exactly what happened. The one man in Hollywood who would change Victor Charles' life was director Robert Aldridge. He once said he noticed Victor Charles acting in the role of Mr. Moon in the television program The Untouchables. Aldridge had thousands of actors to choose from in Hollywood to play the role of Edwin Flegg in his new 1962 motion picture, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It wasn't a leading role or even a lengthy supporting role, but it required having a man who was a mommy's boy under the thumb of a dominating mom. Director Robert Aldridge didn't only choose the right actor, but he directed Victor Charles like no other film director ever did again. Victor Charles had a habit of quickly amusing others throughout his career in television and motion pictures. Aldridge successfully drew the borders around Edwin Flegg, and he kept Victor Charles confidently performing inside his character. He didn't play to the audience to get a laugh, but he was acting within and creating a real human being in the disturbing environment that Bette Davis was creating. If Victor Charles hadn't received the role of Edwin Flegg, he most likely would have only worked in television, and he might have retreated back onto the theater stage. Fate is fickle, and at 23 years old, Victor Charles unknowingly didn't know the god of actors was smiling upon him. When Whatever Happened to Baby Jane finished filming, Warner Brothers didn't quite know what they had to give to the viewing public. They came up with the idea of screening it throughout America in numerous private previews to small audiences. Newspapers were printing round trips for 3 couples either to Hollywood or to New York City will be the grand prizes in the nationwide patron contest developed by the Hollywood Preview Committee of Theater Owners of America for the engagement of Warner Brothers motion picture Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Most of the early newspaper clippings focused primarily on Bette Davis and Joan Crawford because it was their first time acting together in the same motion picture. And that obviously brought many of their fans to want to come and see them.